former Secretary of State and Fox News contributor. So, Mr. Secretary, jump on into the news here and tell us what you think happens next.
Well, good afternoon. Look, my sense is President Trump now is firmly in control of the timeline, and that means America is firmly in control of the timeline. The blockade is in place. I've seen the stories of the ships this morning. I'll bet CENTCOM is right on top of this. And now we get to drive the timeline and the escalation ladder, and that's really important. That's how you keep American lives safe and get the security outcome that President Trump has ultimately looked for, right? Get rid of your enriched uranium, stop your missile program. We took out their Navy. They've still got fast boats, but this is a fundamentally weaker Iran, and the blockade will every day make that continue to be even more true. Their weakness will only accelerate in the days ahead.
Okay, so it's a little bit different. Obviously, the president, through this new interview here, is putting a kibosh on this 3 to 5 day window that he says was reported earlier today. He calls it false because this was earlier reporting from Axios as well, that President Trump was giving Iran just days to end the power struggle and return to peace talks, noting that the split broke into the open last Friday when the foreign minister announced the reopening of the strait. The IRGC refused to implement it and began publicly attacking him. In the days that followed, Iran gave no substantive response to the latest proposal from the U.S. and refused to commit to a second round of talks in Pakistan. You get the sense that there is a serious back and forth that's happening right now. If you are in charge of the timeline, as you're suggesting President Trump of the United States is right now, does it still behoove us to move fast?
Well, sure. We want the strait wide open just as fast as we can get it open. But at the same time, we've got to deliver on the outcomes. The very reason we did what we did back in Midnight Hammer and now what we're doing in Epic Fury. We have to get that right. And so the timeline's fine. A little bit of patience is worthy. Your point is very well taken, however, though. They are broken inside of the Iranian regime today. This is a regime that is trying to figure out who they can talk to. They still fear there's Mossad agents everywhere. They're not sure who's in charge. No one knows whose orders to take and accept. So to negotiate at the highest levels with the United States of America has proven very complicated for them. And that makes it hard for our side, too. We don't know who can actually speak on behalf of the nation. So we should be measured. We should be patient. We shouldn't let a single dollar flow to the Iranian regime. And they'll miss payroll. It'll get even more difficult for them. And the opportunity to deliver on the change in the regime that is so necessary to deliver for the Iranian people and Middle Eastern security will ultimately be something that President Trump drove for and will be at hand.
You think about all that is at stake here, and it's hard to believe that there are some here at home, members of Congress, that are resisting President Trump on this issue and pushing back on his actions. This is Chris Van Hollen, the Democrat from Maryland, on not wanting to fund what he calls an illegal war with Iran. I'll get your reaction.
I'm against providing one more dime for this illegal war, which is making us less safe, which is making us worse off every day. And Donald Trump, who, of course, promised during his campaign that he would keep us out of wars and focus on bringing down prices, is doing just the opposite.
How do you respond to the senator?
Yeah, Senator Van Hollen just isn't going to support anything that Donald Trump does. Moreover, he's simply wrong on this set of issues. The very reason that President Trump is having to do today, and that it's so difficult, is that President Obama and President Biden just screwed this thing up. They gave billions of dollars to the Iranians that tried to destroy Israel and the United States, and President Trump is now actively trying to fix that problem. It is indecent in a time of conflict like this to behave in the way that Senator Van Hollen is behaving and Senator Murphy is behaving. The whole world can see that Iran today is weaker and presenting less risk to the world than it did just a few weeks ago and certainly a few months ago.
Mr. Secretary, I always appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much.
Great to be with you. Thank you.